Welcome to Sweet 16, where we play the sweetest 16 minutes of gameplay and chat about what we're seeing. My name is Dan, and I'm joined by Chantel, developer of Letters to Arralla.
Hello.
Tell me, what is Letters to Arralla?
Letters to Arralla was our little escape out of the lockdown of 2021. We created this game as a small group of developers who graduated together, and we wanted to create a little world that felt like our summer holiday escape. And that's essentially what the island that you're going to is. So you go to the island as a little turnip who has been recently hired to fill in a role for 1 week.
Great.
And chaos ensues as you arrive to the island, but in a really cute way.
Well, let's jump straight in. I love this pickle. As before we started, was it intentional him to be a pickle, or is he a cucumber?
It is a cucumber, but I love the idea of him being a pickle because of all the brine that he's been around as an old sailor.
That seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I know, it just happened to work.
Just has to be in there now.
Yes.
You can have that for free, obviously.
Thank you.
Just a small credit is all
Thank you.
All I need.
Absolutely, right at the very bottom, at the very end.
Yeah. In super tiny font. That's all we need. The thing that I am immediately when I saw this, it reminds me of The Last Hike. Like it has that sort of really small. Oh my god, who is this?
That's your boss.
Oh my god, is he a mango?
Yep.
Yes. Oh.
A wumbo little mango.
Okay. Oh my god. So what is my job? Turnip friend. That's work in progress name?
That is going to be a work in progress name. That is the character that you play, and your boss is Moringa, and they're going to take you to the post office in a really cool walking animation. Please ignore that. It will be added, fixed later. But basically what your job is to deliver letters on this island and to learn the new letter delivering technique because it's a little bit different.
The new letter delivering technique. So,
yes.
Wow.
Yes, it's not like this on the mainland, it's just on this island, and it's something that the locals love.
Okay.
So instead of having addresses on the envelope, they're just little pictures, and you have to decipher where these envelopes go on the island.
Okay, that's cool. So is it sort of like like matching symbols, or is it treasure maps, or is it a mixture? Like how intense are these puzzles going to get?
It is easy enough for a young child to solve. So
Awesome.
Hopefully everyone will be able to solve these puzzles. It's basically just a little image.
Okay, cool.
So the
Cool,
example
cool.
that we were talking about before is, and you'll be able to experience it in your first batch of letters that you receive, one of the envelopes will have a red fish. So what does that mean? Well, you'll wander the island and have to keep an eye out for anything that relates to a red fish. And sometimes the puzzles, because that's a really simple example, it's one to start off the game with, so you can learn the mechanic, but they can get a bit more abstract as you go. So for example, another one would be what looks like a beautiful array of colorful shapes. And at first you might be, well, what does that mean? But then you'll find out that that's actually a pattern of stained glass on a house.
Cool.
And all of these envelopes and all of the letters that you can read within them, yes, you can do that, it's totally legal here, are all handwritten and hand-drawn.
Okay.
So like they're drawn by different people, and to try and capture like an array of different styles and to make them feel authentically done by residents on the island as if they were real characters writing letters to each other. Just like a little level of quality that I always really felt was charming.
Yeah, so is there like a larger story, or is it just sort of a nice little contemplative, deliver some letters, get a little bit of background on people? Like if I start reading everyone's letters, am I going to find there's like, the person in the redfish house doesn't like the stained glass house?
Oh, absolutely. There is lots of local gossip that you can learn about. Should you choose to read the envelopes, you can play through the entire game not opening a single one, and that's absolutely okay. But we do encourage players, if you're curious, if you see a really strange looking envelope, like a biohazard bag, and you really want to know what's inside, open it and find out.
Okay.
There will be surprises inside some of these envelopes that try to subvert expectation.
Okay. Well, that seems like I started talking to the mayor here, but I'm just going to skip through this because I know that in my inventory I have a biohazard bag.
Yes.
So if I... Oh... Okay.
So you would think that there would be some kind of toxic chemical or something quite deadly inside, but if you choose to read through, and you can zoom in as much as you'd like to get a closer look at the written words, which is the up and down on the D-pad. Yeah, the D-pad. We'll add UI to indicate this a lot clearer. We're still working on it. But it's actually a rebuttal argument between two scientists on the island who are married. One thinks that this is a work event, and the other thinks this is a holiday destination, and they can't agree on which island they flew to. And it's them arguing back and forth, and you have to mediate the marriage.
I love it. I love it. So is it, I asked you this before, so obviously over here in the back is still in development. Because how much of Letters to Arralla is finished?
I would say the area that you're exploring now that is built up, I would say that is approximately a quarter of the whole gameplay that we wish to implement.
Wow.
There's still improvements to be done here, such as building interiors, which we haven't begun fully developing. You can go into them, but they're empty spaces. So interiors are also a large portion of our work. But I would say about a quarter of this area has been implemented, and the other 3/4 we're looking towards completing.
Wow. And so I'm seeing a redfish here, so I'm just going to go ahead and... you know what? I don't want to read that. I just feel like...
A happy holidays letter.
Yeah. There we go. Delivered. Okay, so that's one done. So like from the start, the intention is I can go anywhere on this little island.
Not at first. So by going through the week, so each day there are a new host of envelopes that you need to deliver. And each day it's almost like a curated sequence of events where there are certain characters that you will meet on your run to deliver a certain letter, which will then allow you to unlock different areas of the island. So for example, the one that I love using is the spooky mansion at the top of the mountain. You can see it from the very beginning of the game.
I can't see a spooky mansion. It's not there yet.
It is there, but it's a little bit hard to see because it's like gray, a little gray box amongst the trees. But there is a spooky mansion, and you can see like there's a single light on. So someone's living there, but you don't know how to get there. You are delivering letters to the mysterious person in that house, but one day you're unable to.
You know, like I really hate whenever I go to get to play games that are in development, and like my immediate thing that I always do is I'm like, oh, it reminds me of this game, and it reminds me of that game, and it reminds me of this game. But that little like teasing just makes me think of Outer Wilds. Like the way you just want to go and see what's happening on that little speck of light that's over there.
Yeah.
Like, how do I get there? Like, what puzzles do I need to solve to get there?
You will figure out eventually.
So you say it's like so there's 7 days. Is it real time? Does the day finish when I've delivered all my letters?
So you may have noticed that the sun has begun setting, and you are not racing against the clock because no one likes the time trial mechanic. I think it's awful, and we did not want to have that in there because we hated the idea that perhaps an 8-year-old was playing this game and genuinely got scared when it was nighttime and had to go up the spooky mansion to deliver a letter.
Yep.
That was something that we were conscious of. So the way that we have fixed that problem is that the clock waits for you. By delivering letters, the time ticks forward depending on how many things are no longer in your inventory.
Amazing.
So you could spend the entire day kicking the beach ball around the beach and the clock will wait for you.
Yep.
And you can just do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, in order to progress, you have to deliver those letters. And yeah, that's basically how we ended up solving it, and we've had no complaints so far.
Yeah, this is like, I'm feeling like I just want to curl up on the couch with a nice blanket and have a little play.
We were told that this game feels like you're a little child in a toy box world.
Yeah,
just like wreaking havoc.
And do you know what it is? It's also the Legionnaire's hat on top of his little turnip stalk.
Yes, like you're a school kid.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm gonna need a little bit of guidance here because I'm looking. I've got. Oh, hang on. What does this do?
So that is the most recent mechanic that we've added, which is the camera, and you can take holiday photos by using the triggers. So if you hold left trigger, you enter the camera mode, and then you can take photos.
Oh my god! And I wish we were doing this on video so you could see my face and how stoked I am. Come here, Mare. I want to take a photo.
Yeah. There is a little sound effect that plays, but it's a little quiet. But yes, there is a sound effect, and there's like a tick down for how many photos you can take. So you have to, use those
that's-
disposable camera reels carefully.
That's great. I might need a bit of guidance. So if I need,
Sure.
if I need to deliver this, where do I need to go to get this?
So that one goes to the motel. So
goes
that
to the
is
motel.
the
I
Clover
thought-
Motel.
You know, I was thinking that. I was like, this feels like a motel delivery.
Yes, yeah, because that's where the scientists are holed up.
Okay.
So that goes in
Okay.
that little mailbox next to the reception room.
Great. Oh no, I've forgotten the buttons. This one. Great.
Done.
Okay.
Nice.
And now we need to deliver. Okay.
This one's the trickiest one, and that's the one that we have received a lot of playtest feedback on. So that one's actually the town hall. So there is a little red post box. What confuses a lot of people is that there's a shell on top of the post box, which confuses people, but the symbol is actually by the door. So that compass is on the door, but we can easily swap out that texture and make it more obvious.
Yeah,
because we want
right.
the first batch to be really easy for people to solve.
Yeah.
And then they can get more abstract.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, there you go. And now that you've delivered all the letters, the time is moving forward. So technically, you could go back into your motel room and go to the next day. We haven't implemented that. We don't have a day 2 yet, but that is the loop.
Well, I
that
mean,
we have.
I really don't want to. I really don't want to stop. Like, I just kind of want to run around. Like, I love how Australian this phone box is. It's great.
Yes.
Like, just so good to see.
The
Bit of a-
Shellster box.
It's just, oh man, it's so great. So what's the timeline? Because I feel like if I'm watching this, I super want to know like when I can maybe get my hands on outside of these kinds of events like down in Melbourne.
That is a great question, and it's one that we are constantly thinking about as a team because none of us work full-time on the development of this game. We all have full-time jobs, and this is like our little passion on the side that we work on. So I think if I was to give you a realistic date, sometime in 2024 is when this game will be ready. I mean, we did all of this solidly in 6 months.
Wow.
So I think if we wanted to really polish this and have it be ready, I would say maybe give us 2 years.
Yeah, wow. Well, I
and
mean,
it'll be done.
yeah, just from this this one day I've played, I feel like Lettuce Arralla has jumped right up my to-watch list for sure.
Oh, I'm so happy. Thank
I
you.
honestly cannot wait to see what happens with this. Thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
I am so happy that you enjoyed the gameplay, and I'm really happy that I had this opportunity to share the game as well. Thank you so much.